Our goal is to improve safe work practices and reduce injuries. Using the Pareto 80-20 rule, you can do this. We have made a report called Pareto to make this easier to review areas of improvement, starting with focusing on the improvements to make the biggest impact. An example of this would be the 80% of the at-risk exposures. So let's take a look at how the Pareto 80-20 rule can work for you. In order to get to the Pareto chart, you're going to go to the Reports button up here at the top and click on it. Once you get into the Reports library, you're going to scroll to the bottom and you're going to click on Pareto Chart. The first thing you're going to see is the date range box. You can see here we have some defaults already in here for you, or you can select a custom range. Once you are done, you can click Apply or Search, and it will search for that date range. Also in here, I want to point out a few things. On the left-hand side, the y-axis on this side is actually going to be looking at frequencies. Across the bottom, you are either going to see checklists, categories, or exposures, depending on where you're at in the chart, which I will show you here shortly. On the right-hand side, you're going to see a cumulative percentage of everything in this chart. The next thing you're going to want to do is come up here and do the filters. The easiest way to show how the Pareto 80-20 rule works is by actually selecting the exposure results and picking at risk. That does not mean that this is the only way to use this report. It's just one way of using the report. Once you've done that, you may want to save that filter so you can go back to it at a later date. You can put the name of it up here, and then you're going to click Save as New Filter. If you are just updating or doing something else, you can use the Update Filter button instead. So the easiest way to show this, I'm actually going to click on one of the top checklists so that you can see the Pareto a little bit differently. So as I click on that, it's going to actually take me from the checklist page, from the CBI checklist, to the actual categories that the CBI checklist actually has. So you can see those across the bottom. Now you're going to see there's a blue line that goes up. This is part of the Pareto chart. So as I was talking before, we're wanting to look at the top 80% of things. So if you can see, starting with the tallest bar here, it's at 43.48%. As you go up, it's going to get higher and higher. So as you've seen right there, we hit 73 and this one's at 91. So our focus for the 80-20 rule will actually be for these two right here. So let's do that. So let's click on body positioning. Now it's going to take you down to the exposure level, and we're going to look at that exact same thing. We're going to look at, there's a 50% one here, there's a 90% one here. So let's stay focused for now on just the line of fire and trying to eliminate some of these at-risk exposures. To do that, you can very easily click on this line of fire bar, and it'll actually pop up a grid down below. What that will do is it'll give you all the observations that have an at-risk for line of fire. As you scroll over, the great thing about this chart is it's going to give you all the information for that observation, but it's also going to give you the comments that you might want to look at to see if there's ways to fix those. This is just one of the ways that you can use the Pareto chart. You can also go back, take out the filter for at-risk, and look at everything and how many people have selected the different types of checklists, or possibly how many times that category has been looked at, or again, going back to those exposures and looking at those. If you have any questions about this report, please contact your account manager.